All right, welcome everyone. That was the White Stripes with the songs Blue Orchid and Ball and Biscuit. Yeah, the White Stripes, one of my absolute favorite bands. And the reason I haven't done them up to this point is because their lyrics are deep. And it took me a minute to sit with some of these. I knew there was a lot there. I mean, even just in the name, the White Stripes, they're white hats. The White Stripes is in the righteous side of the white and black duality. So they're dedicating to themselves to that. And yeah, powerful lyrics within. So let's take a look here at the first song, Blue Orchid. So an orchid's a flower, sort of like symbolizing, it's a very conscious flower. So it's like, I see that as consciousness itself. And yeah, so let's just go through it. So you got a reaction, didn't you? So reaction meaning like when we fell from oneness into the duality, that's the only potential for reaction to occur, because there has to be equal and opposite within this experience. So you got a reaction, you slipped into the duality, you took a white orchid. So white is purity. White is like the oneness. You went from the oneness, you took a white orchid and turned it blue. So oftentimes blue is a reference to like the throat chakra, elevated status, transmuting red to blue. But in this context, it still means that, but it's like you're stepping from the white purity into the blue. And, you know, they're a blues rock band. Blues is like code for elevating status, but it's also referring to like sadness. So there's like a polarity within that. So we went from the singularity to the duality, became polarized. So you took a white orchid and turned it blue. Something better than nothing, because we come from the void. So from the void is where all of this, where all of this manifests from. The black hole, or the 0 point at the center of the torus, the toroidal field. So something better than nothing. This, we asked the question, who am I? What is this? And that began this whole experience. Something better than nothing. It's giving up. We all need to do something. Try to keep the truth from showing up. So when we when we take a white orchid and turn it blue, and we fall into the duality, then part of that experience is this sort of denial of true self, of the oneness. And it has to be that way so that we can maintain some semblance of our character, our unique identity, perceived as separate from the one. So it's not really, but in order for me to maintain this identity and not just merge back into the one consciousness, then there is some level of try to keep the truth from showing up. So I think that's what it's referring to here. There's probably a whole lot more. As I said, these lyrics are quite deep. So how dare you? How old are you now anyway? So, you know, there's like the concepts of new and old souls, which I've talked about before. I don't necessarily think it means like more incarnations or any of that, but just different bands of consciousness at different levels. How dare you? How old are you anyway? And if we're believing we're separate and we're trying to keep the truth from showing up, then we're embodying more of that, what you could perceive as like a younger frequency, a younger band of consciousness. So how dare you? How old are you now anyway to deny the truth of who you are? At least that's what I see. You're given a flower, but I guess that there's just no pleasing you. So we're given this beautiful experience, this way for our consciousness to coalesce and experience ourselves from infinite vantage points. And yet we're not pleased. At times we fall into the displeasure, the dissatisfaction, but grow attached and then become disappointed. And all of this stems from this sense of separation, which again is necessary, but it's just sort of the maybe could be perceived as uncomfortable aspects of that. I guess there's no pleasing you. Your lip tastes sour, but you think that it's just me teasing you. So your lip tastes sour, your mouth, we're constantly lying to ourselves. If for those who watched the Gospel of Thomas series that we did, that was one of the, all those verses within that book are powerful, but one of the questions that Yeshua was asked is like, what should we do? And he was very simple and clear. Stop lying. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending that you are not an aspect of the one infinite creator, and you're here to embody that. You're here to mimic that as best as we can while maintaining that sense of separation so that we can have this experience. It's an incredible balance to do, but that's the point. So your lip tastes sour, but you think that's just me teasing you, as in you're lying to yourself. So your mouth tastes sour. And then it repeats. You got a reaction. You took a white orchid and turned it blue. Get behind me. So from the book of Matthew, where Yeshua tells, I say it was Simon or maybe Peter, get behind me, Satan, because he was expressing doubt and fear. So when we are embodying that, when we're being possessed by this lower form of self, get behind me, Satan. So that's, I believe, what's being referenced here. Get behind me now anyway. You are expressing your fallen state. So get behind me as in like, you've got work to do. You're falling. And yeah, then it repeats again. So pretty short song, that first one, Blue Orchid, but that's what I see within these lyrics. And as I said, I'm sure there's a lot more, but I'll just leave that with that one. And then the next song, Ball and Biscuit. This is one of my absolute favorites. I just love the sound of it, the like classic blues feel to it, and the way that it transforms. And it's very simple. And if you're reading the lyrics literally without going deeper, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You could maybe try and find some meaning from a literal sense, but it doesn't seem that way. So Ball and Biscuit. It's quite possible that I'm your third man, girl, but it's a fact that I'm the seventh son. So 3, the Trinity, Father, Mother, Child. You are the child. So it's quite possible that I'm your third man, girl, but it's a fact that I'm the seventh son. So 7, the highest. So I see this as like third man being the representation of the Trinity, which we all are. But then he's making a declaration, but it's a fact that I'm the seventh son, as in I am the ascended man. I'm the Christ. That's what I see, at least. So then he repeats that just to emphasize it's possible that I'm your third man, girl, but it's a fact that I'm the seventh son. So I see this as sung from the perspective of the Christ. And right now, you could care less about me in our fallen state, but soon enough, you will care by the time I'm done. So no matter how far we fall away, we always come back. So soon enough, you will care by the time I'm done. Judgment day is coming. The reckoning is coming. And, it's just you returning to you. It's nobody punishing anybody or judging anybody, really. It's you recalling that you are a child of Christ. You're a child of God. You're to remember that. So soon enough, you will care. Let's have a ball and biscuit, sugar, and take our sweet little time about it. So what does that mean? What on earth does that mean? And it's representing the earth and so much more. So ball, the sphere, the toroidal field of energy coalescing within this experience. And biscuit is a flattened, level plane. So ball and biscuit is the toroidal field magnetic energy rubbing up against the level, flat plane. So it's the earth. Let's have a ball and biscuit. And what that represents is the sacred sex, the sacred union between the perpetually moving ball of energy and the level, stationary, unmoving biscuit, the plane. And the union between, that's the sacred sex, the divine union. So it's implied that it's somewhat of a sexual reference, and it is very much that, but there's so much more than just the animalistic, let's have sex kind of thing. There's so much more to that. And take our sweet little time about it. So sacred sex, taking our time on that level, but also just this experience as a whole is the union between the masculine and the feminine, the father and the mother. It's the love story. So while we're here, let's take our time about it, that we can converge back to oneness. And I'm sure we will at some point. And all of this will fade away and we'll wake up from the dream. But we're here in the dream, and we've manifested this dream to truly be in it. So let's take our sweet little time about it. Let's enjoy the story as it unfolds and all the roles and moments that play throughout it. Let's have a ball, girl. So that's sort of emphasizing that she is the ball. She is the toroidal field of energy, the magnetic motion, and take our sweet little time about it. Tell everybody in the place to just get out. So again, referring to like the sacred sex, time to have that space, but also the fact that when you are doing this process within yourself, tell everybody to get out. You have to go within. You have to have that quiet solitude in order to get to that space. We'll get clean together, as in we'll strip away all of the attachments and identities to everything otherwise and get back to center, get back to what's important. And I'll find me a soapbox where I can shout it. That's the Christ. Every time the Christ manifests, it can't help itself but try and shout it from the mountaintops to spread the good news, spread the gospel, the good spell, the God spell. So that's that. Now read it in the newspaper, ask your girlfriends and see if they know. So read it in the scriptures, read it in the ancient text, ask your girlfriends and see if they know. Ask the others. Check in and see if you're interacting with those who are aligned with this path, this way. Ask your girlfriends and see if they know. And ask them if they know that my strength is tenfold, girl. So the Christ is immense power. It is the highest power within this experience. And it is available to all of us. It is all of us. We just have forgotten. And I'll let you see if you want to before you go. So before we fall back into, say we're deep in a meditation, we're experiencing that divinity within. So it will let us see it before we go, before we fall back into the mundane and the happenings all around us. It'll be as a reminder to encourage us. So then it repeats from there. I think that's about, and I can think of one or two things to say about it. All right, listen. So I'll find me a soapbox where I can shout it, and I can think of one or two things to say about it. All right, listen. So getting to this, again, saying the same thing that Christ always comes to bring this message, because there's only one way, there's only one story. And when we remember it, we want to help others. We want to help. We want to share the joy and the peace with others. So I can think of one or two things to say about it. And even in the one or two, so how the one became two. so the two can remember that they are one and go back and forth between that process, the sine wave through that process. One becomes two, two becomes one becomes two. All right, you get the point now. Do you get it? Are you seeing it? And and then it repeats. It's quite possible I'm your third man, girl, but it's a fact that I'm the seventh son. It's a fact that I'm the Christ. And right now you could care less about me, but soon enough you'll care by the time I'm done. Yeah, you just wait. You stick around. You'll figure it out. We always do. No matter how long it takes, we always figure it out. So anyway, that's Ball and Biscuit by the White Stripes. Great songs, like really, really just powerful feel to it. Even if you don't look at the lyrics, it's really powerful stuff. So yeah, thanks for being here today on this, where are we? Thursday, August 14th, 2025 by some standards. And yeah, we're jumping into another Quest-i-on, which is a play on the word question, because if you break apart that word, it's the quest that I am on. It's the quest to turn on the single I, which is the Christ. So this is us in this remembering process, and as we remember, we improve, and then sometimes we fall back into forgetfulness, and then we step back into remembering. It's a process. And so the more that we can share that process together, the more we can reinforce and help remind each other and hold that mirror up and say, hey, you are the Christ. Don't forget. Don't forget to step back into you as you truly are in those moments of forgetfulness. And so that's why I love these shows, as an opportunity to talk about all things, because it is related to all things. Everything that we experience in life, everything that's going on, is merely a reflection of this story of us remembering the hero's journey, that you are the hero, you are the Christ. So in these shows, it's an opportunity to ask any questions or to share on anything in particular. It's very open. So whatever you've got, whatever you'd like to bring forward is very welcome. Don't hesitate if you have something you feel like sharing or a question you want to ask. If you do feel inspired at any point, just simply hit that center button on your screen, and that will signal to me to open up your mic. And once that's open, I'll call on you. If your mic has already been opened throughout the show, just find a quiet moment to jump in. And if you have a hard time doing that, then just toggle your mic on and off, and I'll do my best to see that and call on you. And yeah, we'll get into it in just a moment after some quick announcements. So I've done a couple posts about upcoming events here next month that I want to just remind everyone. So in early September, the first week of September, Cheryl has graciously rented a lake house in Guilford, right near Darth and Joanna's family's home. And this is what we did last year. And it's a great space to have a little gathering. So if anyone is in the area or wants to travel to Guilford, New York during that time frame, please let me know, and we can hone in on a particular day of when to kind of have a gathering. But I just want to work around people's schedules and find out what's the best day that works for everyone, or as many people as possible. It's hard to work with everyone's schedule. But right now we've got the house rented from check-in on August 31st, so really not including that day. So from like September 1st through September 6th, she checks out on the 7th. So between the 1st and the 6th are the days that we're looking to host a gathering. And it's possible we might have two, if there are two that suit best. So if that's something of interest of you to come in the area, definitely let me know, and we'll make it happen. It's always a fun time. As you saw in the pictures I shared, we were out on the lake. We were gathering around the campfires. We were building orgonite pyramids that didn't turn out too well this last time, but I think we've refined the process within that. So we might do that again. And and just have fun being physically with each other. You know, I love spaces like this because it gives us an opportunity to meet and convene with people from all around the world. And I won't ever negate that. It is really special to be able to do that. And there's just something extra special about being physically with people. giving real hugs. And so if that's something that you'd like to do during that time frame, just reach out to me any which way that you can and let me know you're interested, and we'll see. We'll see what we can make work. So that's that. And then on the following weekend, on September 14th, we are going to, I will be helping host a fundraising gala for the Foxhole Foundation in Pennsylvania. Oh, I'm forgetting the name of the place. Let me just look that up. But it's a absolutely beautiful venue that was donated to be able to be used by the Foxhole Foundation in Wrightsville, Pennsylvania. So it's on the southern side of Pennsylvania, and yeah, it looks absolutely amazing. I'm very much looking forward to it. So for just a reminder, the Foxhole Foundation is a group that's dedicated to helping disaster relief. It kind of got started during Hurricane Helene and saw the need for support there. So Jeff and Nadine, the co-founders, they jumped on that to help out as many people as they can. You might remember I went down there for a couple different excursions where we delivered funds to relieve people who got their homes destroyed and give them a little Christmas gift during that time. And Jeff he never stops. He's always delivering supplies to people who need some. He just got it wasn't 100% donated, but he was able to get a really good deal from Truckin' for Troops, another great organization by a really, really great guy. And so he's able to deliver a lot more supplies in that area. And so they've just been working constantly. Nadine's more so behind the scenes, but she makes trips all the time. She's always connecting with people and helping to, raise more funds so that they can do more. So this dinner on September 14th is just for that. It's a fundraising opportunity. It's a networking opportunity to raise more awareness about what the Foxhole Foundation does, and drive some more interest in getting support financially for the things that they do. It is unfortunate that so much effort has to be spent on fundraising, because really, if we could unlock these two people and the whole group, myself included, that are involved with projects like this, there'd be no limit to the amount of people that could be helped through these efforts. They are constantly working, but you need money to do a lot of things. It's in addition to what they already contribute from their own personal funds, they're always paying for things themselves, like traveling, paying for gas to different spaces, paying for lodging in different spaces. So they really want to make sure that as much as possible goes to the relief aid of those who need it. That's going to be a great event in September 14th. If you're interested in going, you can go to foxholefoundation.org and you can find the link there. That's Foxhole with a Q, FQXHOLE. Let me just pull up that site and show you there. I would love to see you there. We're going to have myself, Darth and Joanna, and their 3 older children are going to be there, and Lila's going to be there, and we've already had. He's like 99% sure he's going to be there. SG-Anon is going to be there as well, who's just been a great supporter behind the scenes, helping to promote them, helping to get the word out. He's going to be there as well. And he said that's his only event he's going to be able to make this year. And normally SG-Anon's, doesn't show his face. So it's an exciting opportunity to get to meet him, thank him in person. And so it's going to be great. There's going to be raffle prizes. There's going to be auction, a great dinner. And just a fun note, I will actually be preparing the plant-based dinner option for that evening, which just to give you an idea, it's going to be and this is often a crowd pleaser. It's a Mediterranean quinoa. So it's quinoa mixed with olives and cucumber and tomatoes, and a whole bunch of other good things. And I'm going to make like a lemon tahini dressing to go on top of it. I'm going to be making some hummus to go with it, some extra cucumber for that. So it'll be a nice, and likely we'll do it on some lettuce as well. So it's going to be it's always delicious. It's always really good. I'm not worried about the taste of it right now. I'm just figuring out how to make it look fancy. And I think I've got a good idea on how I can do that. Because this is going to be a semi-formal event. And that's so the veterans who will be attending can be dressed in their uniform, their dress wear, and anyone else who shows up. So for men, that's usually a suit or at least a blazer and nice pair of pants. And then for women, it's a nice dress. And so, yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting. So would love to see anybody else there if you'd like to attend. And I would like to also say that if attending if the cost is an issue of buying a ticket, because it's $75 per person for a ticket, which, it all goes to help cover the cost of the event, and then it goes to helping them do what they do. But if that cost is too high, please let me know. There are ways that we can work around that. There are other options. So let me know if that's something that you need help with, as far as like either reducing, or just reach out and we can figure something out. So yeah, that's coming up not too long. So excited about that. And it's in this really beautiful venue too. This wedding it's a wedding venue normally, right on the river, beautiful scenes. And normally this venue costs tons of money, because weddings generate a lot of money. But fortunately, the owners of this place donated the venue for them to use for that time. So we're very grateful for that. So yeah, that's coming up in September. So I just wanted to announce that. And then also just to remind everyone that I am still helping to support Bali and the orphans in Uganda. They are, you can, if you'd like to help support them, Bali's often chiming in on JC Family, giving updates on what's going on with them. Just to let everyone know, they are kind of in a bit of a bind at the moment. Right now they have a issue with their latrine. So it's not even a toilet. It's just like a hole in the ground that they have to use. And I think it's backed up and they're having problems with it. So he's concerned with, keeping the kids safe within that. And he's also having issues with the landlord, who's just being more and more unreasonable and telling them they have to get out by a certain time. He's hopefully giving them at least a couple more months to stay there. But the impression I'm getting is it's getting more tenuous, more tricky for them. So I'm just asking if anyone has any extra to support, or if you are able to reach out to other organizations that are aware and are willing to help, church groups, anything like that. Please help get the word out for that. I'm happy to set up any meetings or conversations or anything with anyone who has the extra ability to help, because I'm happy to redirect funds myself, and I have. And thank you to those who have supported in that way. And then I'm helping in addition to that from my own. But as you know, I'm donation supported as well, and I don't make very much money doing this. Like, I'm not. I live very simply. I live very simply. Very So I'm doing my best to keep all that going, and I'm sure God will provide a way and show a solution, but I just want to help keep spreading the word on that. So if you do want to help, there's the Gifts and Go that you can use. That's totally okay. And then there's also my donation links as well on justincarpenter.org/contribute. If you do want to donate that way, just make sure you specify in the note that you'd like it to go to Bali, and I'll send it over to him right away. He's always very grateful to receive the support. So just wanted to mention that. And thank you to all who have supported. It really means a lot. So just doing my best to help spread the word there. So yeah, I think that covers it for the announcements today. Just to briefly go over news stuff, since I have been. So the big hot topic item has been Trump is turning into this dictator because he's fighting crime in DC, and so that's the whole narrative there. And but it's providing a really good example of just how quickly and I've said this before, but just how quickly even this system that was designed to break us and turn us into slaves, even this system can still be turned to be used for good. And that's what he's showing right now. He's showing the contrast of what does a quote unquote Biden, who wasn't even really Biden, what does that look like? How quickly do things degrade? And then how quickly can they bounce back if you actually have good people making good decisions? So it's helping to show that. And it's also showing the contrast behind between how the media portrays him and what he's doing, claiming it's evil and, you know, dictatorship and all of this other kind of stuff, versus what's actually happening, which is that the streets are becoming less dangerous. And I have no doubt that within the 30 days, and it's interesting, the 30-day marker that they're using, because Q often reference done in 30, but it's interesting to show just how quickly that can get turned around. And I have no doubt about that we're going to see a massive transformation within DC within that time frame, which will just give another example to show to people that, like, oh, wow, this isn't a bad guy. He's actually helping to protect people. And it's giving less of a narrative for those opposed to stand against it, because how are you going to argue that? Like, oh, you want the streets to be more dangerous? You want more people to get mugged and raped and all of that? Like, no. So that's a interesting little thing to watch, you know, amidst all the other things that are going on. And again, I don't know exactly how long this is going to take to come to a head, but I'm very, I know that every inch that it takes is just, it's for our benefit. It's for the collective's benefit, so that more people can make it through this time as unscathed as possible, a smooth transition, as he likes to say. So yeah, that's just to mention that. And I guess we'll just jump right into the show today. And so I do love to give priority to those who are here on the show live. I have just one question submitted offline, and you're always welcome to send me questions offline, and I'll get to them as I'm able to. But I love to engage with people who are here live on the show. So if you ever do have something you want to chime in with, just feel free to raise your hand and we'll get to you. And I see Janie raised her hand. So do you want to start us off today?
Sorry about that. That was an accident. I was moving around to get situated.
Oh, no worries. Well, glad to hear from you.
As he, I would say, for a bit more. So I'm in, but
Yeah, Janie, it's a bit hard to hear you. It's kind of breaking up. You're coming in and out. But I heard you at the beginning where you said it was an accident. So no worries there, but it's always good to hear your voice.
yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. The reception here for their Wi-Fi is not very good out. I'm in the backyard, of course. I just have to be outside all the time. So everybody's sleeping. So I'm out here listening. So love y'all.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, Janie. All right. Well, hey, Jenna, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, Justin, can you speak on my behalf for Gary? I'm kind of in the middle of trying to get his dinner ready, so can you help me out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for reminding me there. So yeah, as any who are active in JC Family know, you've seen Jenna. She's a very regular poster there, and we love her so very much. And she's been helping to support her partner Gary, who just went through surgery on his nose. I think he was, that they ended up having to take the nose and remove it. So he's in recovery right now, and we're grateful that everything seems to be stable. But as you can imagine, that adds some challenges. Jenna is just an absolute angel. I really loved getting to meet her at the rally that I did way back now in 2022, if you can believe it. But she's been a consistent support, and but Jenna's she's regularly in a wheelchair, and so she's not able to do everything. It's very difficult for her to take care of somebody else. So any support there is greatly appreciated. And if you'd like any donations sent her way, you can certainly send them through me. Or there is also a link that she shared in JC Family that's got t-shirts for sale. So if you want to buy a t-shirt, they designed a t-shirt. I think they set the price at $24.24, which 24 is a great number. It represents alchemy, which is us transmuting our lower self and bringing it into the higher. So 24 is a great number, and 24 plus 24. Well, no, that's not right. The inversion of 24 is 42, which is divinity. And then 24 plus 42 is 66, which is the journey of man. So anyway, if you'd like to support any which way there, even just sending prayers and any words of support towards Jenna, it's always appreciated, just so she knows that she's not alone in working through this. And yeah, so any consideration there is very appreciated. So thanks, Jenna, for the reminder. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening. So yeah, is there anybody else that wants to jump in, share anything, ask any questions, go over any topic in particular? If you've got any revelations you've had, any challenges you've overcome, everything is very welcome. So I'll pause for a second, see if anybody wants to jump in. All right. Well, like I said, I just have one question today, but we can certainly go over it. It's a good one. So this is from Val Smith, and she said, Jesus, we are told, was born at Christmas, then disappeared until he was 30. Where did he go? Also, when we pray, whom are we praying to? So we'll do the first one. So where is this gap of time? And it's not exactly like he was born and then the canonical Gospels, they do describe his childhood to a degree, but yes, from childhood to him being about 30 or so is a huge gap. So it's like, how did this man develop? Where did he turn into an adult? And so there is a big reason, I believe, why this portion is so sort of veiled from a traditional religious Christian perspective, because the historical reference shows that likely he traveled to the east. He traveled to maybe now modern day India and other spaces in that area to learn from other masters, to learn from other forms of spiritual practices. So the yogis, the Buddhists, the Hindus, and other forms of spiritual practices to refine himself and to step further into his calling. So that's largely a reason why that time period is sort of just negated and brushed over, because if people start asking too many questions of like, oh, why was this idea of this man who is supposed to be the only son of God and this is the only true religion, why is he going to other forms and other spiritual practices to learn from? It waters down that narrative that this religion is the most powerful and you've got to listen to us. But we don't, just kind of joking, but we don't actually listen to the words that Jesus actually said. We just kind of like pay attention for a second, but then we divert to Paul's teachings and getting us to believe that we have to believe in Jesus as our one and only Savior, and that we don't actually have to do anything. We just have to believe in that and go to church, and that's it, which is wrong. That's not what he taught, and not what he talked about, and not what he embodied. And so this gives a more accurate depiction of this man who was stepping into his Christed form, which is what he continuously said to all of us. You can do this too. The kingdom of heaven is within you. You will do greater things. So we all have this inherent Christ itself within us that just has simply forgotten who we are. And so that was his path of remembering. He developed. He came from the teenage wastelands. He came from. Granted, I don't think maybe he fell into partying and did that. I'm sure he had his moments, but he had his moments where where he was shifting out of the perception that this identity and this character is the only truth, and realizing that he was, just as you are, all part of the same. And we get to celebrate the unique differences that we embody, but not have it cause us to forget who we truly are. And so that time in the East is what helped him to refine his practices within. I'm sure he studied all forms of meditation and yoga and all various sorts of things to refine his own ability to connect with the Father and the Mother. To have that balance point between, to be the best man, to be the third man, but I'm the seventh son. So he was on his way to become the seventh son. He was elevating through the chakras. He started as the third, as the creation of the Father and the Mother, but then became the seventh as the highest, most elevated version of that. That's the Christ. So that's what he was doing within that time, was discovering and learning. And I would just say that the various practices and spiritual teachings and all of that can be hugely helpful of refining our own practice of how we connect to the divine. But ultimately, it is your unique and individual connection. So whatever practice works for you, whatever way works for you, it doesn't even have to be rigid or ritualistic. It can be. Sometimes that's helpful to have a structure and a consistent thing that we do daily. But if we become too attached to that idea, then that can become a detriment as well. So really be open to the fluidity of how the Holy Spirit can enter into our vessel, how we can bring that divine influence into our space and have that possess us. As I love how Darth has put that before, like, you're always possessed by something. You're possessed by the Christ or the Antichrist. And most people are oscillating between those two constantly. But the goal is to, or at least from the Christed perspective, the goal is to move into where I'm possessed solely by the Christ consistently, continuously. And so whatever practice helps you step into that, whether that's as simple as just, okay, I'm feeling agitated, I'm going to go walk outside and put my bare feet on the ground. Or I need to go put this particular song on because that helps me bring myself back to center. Or I need to go just do some breathing, or all the above, whatever practice, or go do this particular yogic meditation practice that has been done for thousands of years. That can be done too. All of it is helpful, but no one should tell you exactly how you should do it. No one should say that it has to be done this way. Well, I'm laughing at myself because there is only one way, but our path to get there is completely flexible in some ways. It's like there's the consistent archetypes of the righteous movement. There's the 7 virtues versus the 7 sins, the Christ versus the Antichrist. So there's those layers to it. But the methodology and the practice, the rituals, there's no requirement that it has to be any certain way. They can all be helpful, but not as a hard and fast, you have to do it this way. So I just wanted to add that little bit in as well. But yeah, great question from Val Smith on that. Where did he go during that time? So that would be my take there. And yeah, I mentioned she's got another question, but I will pause there and see if anybody wants to jump in, add anything to that, or even take us in a new direction. You're more than welcome. All right. Well, the other question that she asked is, when we pray, whom are we praying to? She said, it's a bit strange, but shouldn't we question everything? Yeah, absolutely. That's why we are the Quest-i-ons. It's a question, because a question just helps you refine that which is versus that which is not. And so whom are we praying to when we pray? And that's where I think it is helpful to pray in a certain way and not necessarily just go with the religious version of what prayer is. I guess I'll say this, and, I've mentioned it before, at risk of sounding like an egotistical maniac, but I'll just say it. You are essentially praying to you at your highest level, which is God. So you, at the highest version that you can possibly be, is that divine self. And really, it's impossible to even envision like a highest self as if it is separate from anything else, because the highest version of all of us is God, and it's you. So the Christ is like our guide, our motivating force, motivating energy to move us back to that realization, while maintaining a connection to this experience, because it's so beautiful and wonderful to have. Let's have a ball and biscuit, sugar, and let's take our sweet time about it. Let's enjoy this time here. So that's the who are you praying to? If it helps to visualize a external being, whatever you feel comfortable with, and I prefer that myself. It's like I don't want to just visualize me in a different way as if that's who I'm praying to. But it's like this formless, nameless, beyond. So if I'm envisioning it as anything, then I'm not really grasping it all the way. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with say praying to Yeshua or praying to any ascended master or Archangel Michael or any elevated form of consciousness. But just know that's also you. That's also you in just a varied form. So the void is that which is beyond. God is just our attempt to give a name to something that we cannot name. There is no name to that. It is beyond all of this. So I guess it depends on what you're doing and what might be most helpful to you, because prayer, from how I see it, of kind of disconnecting from the religious perspective of it, it's not to pray out of lack. Oh, I need this to do something. I'm praying for this thing to happen out of a lack space, because that keeps us away actually from the pure manifestational abilities that we have. So shifting prayer to a knowing that we are that, and we are the whole experience, and we have the free will to move about in that, shifts the power of the prayer. But it gets tricky because our higher self also has free will, which sort of establishes the train tracks, if you will, of our life. So if I'm from this form praying for something that goes against my higher self organizing the train tracks, the structure of my life, and where at a higher level I chose to experience these things, if those are conflicting, well, the higher self is going to have the hierarchy there. It's gonna default to that. So that's where people might get frustrated at the idea of prayer. It's like, well, I can't even shift anything. And that thought does sort of reinforce that narrative and does make that less impactful than before. So yeah, prayer can be tricky. I'll just share my relationship with prayer is all my prayers are to help me to see clearly. Help me to hear and to respond, to be. I'm not praying for external outcomes. I pray for clarity. I pray for calm peace so that I can respond to whatever does happen around me. That's how I direct my asks. It's just help give me the opportunity to be and embody that, to step in as the Christ as best I can. Knowing that we're not, it's very difficult to maintain that perfect connection at all times. So having grace for ourselves if we don't, but that's how I shift my prayers. And who am I praying to? Well, again, it's the nameless beyond, but it's also very personal and connected too. So sometimes the concept of the void seems very cold and disconnected, but in reality, it's the embodiment of like unconditional love, and so if you feel that like warmth, that warm embrace, I often do when I'm deep in prayer or meditation. I feel that warm embrace, that warm fuzzy, because it's like, and that actually mechanistically happens when we get that warm fuzzy, when we feel goosebumps or God bumps. It's actually that happens, that sensation happens when our left and our right hemispheres of our brain are connecting. So there's energetic flow between these two spaces, and we feel and we get that sensation from it. That's why when we're watching like a beautiful love story or listening to some great music, we can have that. Or if we say something that's really powerful, we can feel that. Like I'm literally feeling it right now. It's the confirmation of the connectedness of what we're going through, and we're beyond the thoughts and the identity and the attachment, and we're coming back to that union. So I pray to help bring me into that connected space as I respond to everything that happens in the external, knowing that all of it is there for me to remember myself and to enjoy this experience throughout. So I hope that makes sense. It's a difficult concept to talk about because, as I mentioned, it is extremely personal. It's not something that even always applies in the same way, because it's relative based on where we are and what we're able to understand. And there's only so much that we can conceptualize from this vantage point. So it does make it kind of challenging to describe. So I hope that helps. But there is a brief description of that, and I will just pass it over. And I see Shadow Walker 77, which I believe is Gary, has raised his hand. Did you want to jump in, brother? Yeah, if you want to speak, you just got to hit that center button again to open your mic. Okay, no worries. It might have been a mistake. But yeah, does anybody else want to chime in?
Hold on,
Either...
Justin. He's learning how to work it.
Okay. Yeah, just tap that center button on your screen that you hit the first time.
It's his settings, Justin. Give me a second.
All right. Well, maybe he can just talk through your phone if you're next to him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear, brother. Brother, welcome.
Thank you all. I had surgery Monday. I came out of it pretty good. I haven't had no pain from it. One Tuesday, they bandaged it up. I had to go get the bandage replaced today because I got to get it changed every day. And the nurse looked at it and said it's healing up pretty good. I still got one spot that's still kind of leaking, but it's healing up. So I'm fighting through this. There's two things I live by: never give up and never surrender.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for that. And yeah, just appreciate you. Yeah, so we've got you. We've got you. We've got your support, and you've got people that care here. So thank you for chiming in, and we'll keep we'll keep you in prayer as well. You know, just to pray that the clarities and the resources and whatever is needed to help move everything in the right direction as it's needed. So thank you. Yeah. Does anybody else want to jump in either on anything discussed so far or take us in a new direction?
Hey, it's Lila. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Hey, Lila.
Hi. I just wanted to say hi to Jenna and Gary and tell you that you're in my prayers daily and lighting candles for both of you. Sure, this is tricky to deal with, but it sounds like you are in good spirits. And I just was moved to remind you both of the power of light, light healing. I know nowadays that if you ask, I don't know about where you are in Virginia, but if you seek it out, sometimes you can actually even get like a healing light that you can get through your insurance or whatever. Come on, sweet pea. And there's that, of course, something more that you can plug in or whatever. But also just light from the sun, you know, especially when you have something bandaged up and those kinds of things. And I don't know what your living situation is, but I think I remember that you guys are in an apartment. You know, just remember even 10 minutes of healing sunlight can be so powerful as something is healing from a surgery like that. So yeah, I was just moved to say that. And I know that all of us we love Jenna so much. We don't know you as much, but we are praying for the situation that you're in regarding your housing and now this recent health complication. So much love to both of you.
Yeah, thanks, Lila. Yeah, it's a great note on the sun. And there was a huge, for anyone who saw or hasn't seen the new Superman movie, that was a huge com in that one, is that he needed the sun to heal, which is just, you are Superman. You know, we're all Superman. The Christ is Superman, and the sun, SUNSON, is a etheric embodiment, manifestation of that energy. So of course it's very healing. And so, yeah, I would absolutely recommend that as well. And yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I've been following this doctor, Dr. Courtney Hunt, and she speaks on balancing the hormones for women especially, and how important it is to be out in the early light as the sun is rising, and then yes, also as it's setting, but especially for women, apparently that light that you get in the morning is so helpful to the hormones, and within that, to like not be covered up. You know, of course sometimes you have to be if you're in a cold climate or whatever, and it might be the morning, so it'll feel more chilly, but the more skin that is exposed, the more of that healing light that you get. And you know, then you're producing vitamin D and your own internal vitamin D, and you're really getting a healing boost to the hormone levels. And I knew it, but to have somebody who consistently comes on, she's on Instagram and she'll come on and do lives like as she's huffing and puffing up a hill, you know, as the sun is rising, and she's just been so inspirational for me to like get out and do it, and to kind of physically know it versus like logically thinking, oh, that's so good for me, but to like actually get out and do it. And I call that walk and talking. I've done that with different things like mindfulness around co-creation and manifestation. But this part around, get out in the sun. And I'll try to post it. She recently did an Instagram speaking about religion, and, whatever your religion is, even if it's like to be very covered up because you're Islamic or whatever, all the way down to just like, I'm Amish, and, this is what feels proper or modest, right? And how the separation between our religion and that modesty is important to realize that, great, you can be modest and understand that if you're not getting that sun on the back of your hands and your nail beds and in your eyes and at the top of your head, it really, really makes a difference. So yeah, she's fascinating, and I'll share her, but I just wanted to share that message in case anyone doesn't have Instagram or doesn't have the time to follow her. These are really important things to be considering. Thank you.
Just want to let you all know, it's not that I'm not around, is I'm not good at stuff like this where I'm more of a face-to-face person, but just because nobody sees me, I'm around because I'm my wife's shadow. It's my job to make sure she's protected.
Yeah, we hear you, brother, and no worries at all. I know there's that the silent support behind the scenes can be so powerful. So thank you for you, thank you for your service, and yeah, just appreciate that. So yeah, great stuff. Tracy, I saw your hand was raised. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah. Hey guys. Hello everybody. Yeah, I'm just listening along, and I'm just as well. Jenna, we love sweet Jenna Rainbow so much. She's the boopster. She loves to spread her boop love everywhere she goes, and it's really, really, it's just so sweet. And she's so right now so vulnerable to what's going on. Gary, I'm just wanting to as well. Just wanted to have my voice on here for you to hear while you're on with us. I just was like just amazing to hear you with everything that you're enduring right now. I'm sending my prayers as well. I'm one of the people that I actually had a phone call with Jenna. I'm not sure if you remember, but I had a phone call with Jenna. Her and I were speaking for a while over the phone, gabbing, and then you came and listened on for a little bit. So I'm not sure if you remember who I am, but that was a while ago. That was a good, maybe over a year ago. But I just wanted to say, you're always in my thoughts, both of you. I do try to we speak on some other chats as well, Jenna and I. But yeah, she's very, very well loved, very supported here, and of course you are as well. So yeah, all my prayers for a positive healing and absolute perfection. And I do as well support that if you get a chance to get out in the sun, how important that can be to help. So yeah, just anything to help your healing, to make you fully renewed and revitalized in every way possible. So yeah, that's my prayer for you, to both you, Jenna, and to you, Gary. Okay. And then also let to speak on is as well. I'm the same with what Lala was just mentioning about the sun gazing in the morning, and I had gotten sort of out of my routine of that. Pardon me, 1 second. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'd kind of gotten out of that routine. I was pretty good, quite consistent with my morning, the morning sun gazing and hill walking and stuff like that, and just was getting on a really good, was healing in certain ways, was noticing the benefits of the morning as opposed to afternoons and stuff like that over the past few years, as I've gotten out and tried to engage with sun therapy in all ways. But but so my recent location here, the way the sun was arcing in the beginning a few months ago in early June was one way, but now I have a little corner of my terrace that I can stand on. So it only gets my upper body, but I literally I wear like a sarong, just tied around me, sarong, and then I go out there and I kind of hang my arms over the side, and it's pretty good. Like so maybe 7 a.m. now, so it's a little bit coming up a little bit later already. Yeah, that analema is already kicking in. I can already see how much it's already moved over, but it would go over the top of my building, so I wouldn't get it for very long. Very early morning sun, but it was kind of awkwardish. There's a big tree there, so I wasn't really getting that full thing. So it's like, and as well, I'm kind of overhanging into the parking lot. Well, it's not a parking lot per se, but it is the cul-de-sac of this little neighborhood. There's maybe about 6 or 7 cars, and people kind of traverse through there as they walk out of this road. So I didn't want to kind of be like, just hanging there every morning. It's a little bit awkward, but anyway. But now the sun has moved over, and soon, probably within another month, I will be getting it much more direct, and as well in the afternoons now. Excuse me, it's hitting my other side of my terrace, so I'm able to get some pretty good sun without even having to leave. So I'm really stoked about that. But the early morning one, I really, I hear you, Lila. That's something I really need to get as often and as consistent as possible, because I believe that's going to be something that will help me heal as well. And luckily, yeah, we're still warm enough here that I can, have my upper body, arms out and all that, as much skin as possible. And plus, I do spend time in the afternoons as well, just wearing a bathing suit, or just a sarong, whatever, especially if I'm just here. So trying to get the benefits of that, trying to heal from that as well. And I really, really appreciate, as I'm, experiencing this new place, that is something that in my last place, I didn't get any sun at all. I got a little bit of early morning sun, and then it'd be gone completely. So I was facing north. So it was really difficult to have that in my own space. So having that here, I am super stoked about, super happy about. And yeah, just wanted to share that, and that's all. So love you guys. Thanks.
I got a couple more things to say, if you don't mind, Justin.
Not at all. Go ahead.
All right. Like I said, when I went to go get the bandage changed, they said it's healing up pretty good. There's still one spot that's still kind of leaking, but that should be healing up pretty soon. And the doctor that did the surgery said if it heals up, I should be ready to be able to receive a prosthetic nose. So far it looks like I'm healing up pretty good, and I think they're surprised about how quick I healed. And when it comes to Jenna is my baby. I'll do anything for her, but I also got to make sure that I'm around to protect her. That's why I try to keep in the shadows. That's why my name's Shadow Warrior. Shadow Walker. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for the thoughts and prayers. I mean, I really appreciate it. Thanks everybody.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Thanks for being here, and yeah, appreciate that. And thanks, Tracy, for the update and kindness there. And yeah, just lots of good stuff. So I'll pass it back and see if anybody else feels inspired to jump in on anything we've discussed or wants to take us a new direction. Hey, Tina. Good to see you here. Go ahead.
I just want to say hi, and I love everybody here. And as far as us finding out who we are, the last 2 years I've basically stopped listening to chats and went within, and just tried to really find out who I really am. And I've had a struggle here because I'm married to a husband of, I've been with him 41 years. We've been married 38, July the 2nd. And he's a narcissist, and he's like bipolar Jekyll Hyde kind of guy. You never know what you're going to get. And so I've had 4 children, and in my last one, Amanda left the house 7 years ago. So for the last 7 years, it's just been me and him here, which has been really the biggest struggle of my life, to tell you the truth, to get through each day. And through this, I have found out who I really am. And I do know that we have so much power within us, because I have had him come at me with guns pointed right at me for stupid reasons, other than maybe I threw the cracked corn for the chickens and the roosters too close to the house. Oh, because we'll get rats. I mean, it's like he will make a mountain out of anything. It's crazy. And so one day when I was standing out there, I mean, it looked like his head was going to blow off. He was so mad. Over cracked corn, honest to God. For some reason, that gets him really bad. I don't think he likes buying it for these chickens, you know? He's like tired of it. He's not as an animal person like I am. And so the love isn't there, the unconditional love. Anyhow, so the one of the days he had a gun pointed at me, I just stuck my hand out at him and pointed it at him wide, and I said, I rebuke you in Jesus Christ's precious name. And I said it 2 more times, and you should have seen what happened to him. He literally turned around and left and went back in his room and stayed there. And he did not want to stay there. He was in there mumbling around like a demon would, really. And he left me alone for the next 3 days. Didn't speak to me or not, which that's exactly what I wanted to happen. I didn't want his bad energy around me at all. And that's not the only time that happened over these years. You know, I mean, I've got him away from me more than once just by drawing on my power with no fear. And it's unbelievable when you don't have fear, and you know that, and you're not afraid to die, and I'm not. I could care. Actually, I had a dream not that long ago. I'm a dreamer like my mom. I have premonitions. She does too. She did when she was alive. That actually happened, and so did I. But I had a dream not that long ago, a very short dream. My parents and visits me all the time from the other side in my dreams, and they bring my animals and my granddaughter that died and everything. It's so much fun. It's like I'm really there. But this dream I had, I walked into heaven literally from my room, just like I walked straight into another realm. I was there. All of a sudden, I was there. And I don't know if you guys know who Negative DS is. She's been on Holy Ground and other chats on Telegram before. I think she's from Canada. I only know her by that name, but she came into my channel on Telegram, Faith is Freedom, Give It Up to God, and prayed with me a few years ago, on and off, live. And so that's how I met her. But she was, as soon as I walked into this realm, she was standing there with a tray of God's fruit. And she handed me a piece, and I didn't say anything to her. I just took a bite of it. And immediately I felt brand new. Better than and I'm in extreme pain all the time. I have arthritis in my knee, my hips, and it's hard for me to walk. Like, I feel like I have cement on my hips when I walk. That's what it feels like. Usually I use a crutch on one side of my body because I can't go out there and feed those chickens and the whole time, it takes like a half an hour without actually feeling like I'm going to fall out. My body's going to crumble. So I take the crutch so that I can lean on it, and it helps. But anyhow, when I walked into this realm, I took one bite of fruit, and I felt brand new. And nothing was said. And I seen a big table in this giant room, and I went over to the table and I looked under the table, and my dog Peter, he was a poodle that I had, and when he died he was blind, and he came out from under the table and he could see me. He was brand new, and I picked him up and hugged him, and then I just woke up. And so, I've had more than one dream that I've been in that realm before, and it's beautiful, and I'd rather be there than here, to tell you the truth. So I have no fear of dying. So I just want you to know that, if you don't have any fear of dying and you really come into your power, you can really find out that you are very strong, stronger. And, my husband's so much stronger than me, and taller and everything. And, he acts like a crazy person most of the time. It's really out there. It's unbelievable the stuff that he does, really, for no reason. It's like, I don't even know where it's coming from, but he was raised by a mother, and he had 9 brothers and sisters, and she was like, I used to call her Satan in a Sunday hat, because she was like, she would go to church, but she was like, she would cause chaos between her kids constantly, making sure that they fought and everything. Always chaos of the whole, and she lived 97 years. She just recently died this year. And I know that I feel like God was trying to give her a chance to change, and she never did change all the way to the end. She was just mean and evil all the way, and didn't care about none of the kids or the grandkids. And it was just a sad situation. I know that he was probably well influenced, raised by her. But it's been very hard living with that. And I just want you guys to know that you are so powerful. It's really unbelievable how powerful we are. And it's a wonderful thing. And we have nothing to fear. And I just want everybody here, and Tracy, one of my beautiful friends, good to see you here. I love you all so much. And I got prayers. I forget what the man's name was that had the surgery, but I will keep him on my prayer list and pray for him daily. And I just appreciate everybody and the love that's here. Love you so much, Justin.
Oh, I love you too, Tina. It's so good to hear from you, and see you in this space. And what a powerful testimony to really demonstrate that wearing that armor of God. And that's the only way that we can wear it, is if we have no fear. Any ounce of fear within us, we take off that armor. But if you wear it, there's nothing in this whole universe that can stop you. So that's a powerful demonstration. I appreciate you for sharing that. And as much as the circumstances are unfortunate to go through those kind of things, just see the divine purpose through that is, through those scenarios, you are able to really refine your ability to step in as that Christ itself, and to say, I'm not afraid of you. And you invoke that name, which is the name that anything that is less than cannot stand, because it knows. And you're essentially just reminding it who you are. So it's, just again, appreciate you for sharing that. And thanks for being here. So I will pass it back and see if anybody else wants to jump in, share anything, take us any direction. You're more than welcome. Hey, Jeff, go ahead. Oh, wait, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
I just want to say that no matter what we all go through, it's our decision if we let that take a hold of us, or we just put it to the side and just go on with our life and just be grateful of being who we are and living our lives. Because I feel that we are light beings. I do feel that we do have higher power that's been granted upon us. And I do believe in each and every one of us, we have powers that if we sit down and let ourselves be free, that the power that is given upon us was be set free, and we could be the type of people that could be good to others that's in need.
Absolutely. Yeah, well said. Yeah, I see Jeff raise your hand. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, Justin, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead.
All right, so yeah, it's more about just a little personal question. It was just I took your advice and got my blood work done recently. I actually just had a chat with the doctor today, and yeah, we've been about 3 years now since connecting with all this. I'd say 85-90% raw, no meat, no dairy, no eggs, and the doc was like so happy. Everything is just great, flying colors, except for my B12. Yeah, I know it's just searching around. It's basically animal products and whatnot, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this. And I was wondering if you have ever dug into that, or is it a supplement, or what would you suggest? Like in like past history or whatever, like doesn't seem like we'd have to eat copious amounts of there's trace amounts in fruit and whatnot, and mushrooms and seaweed and whatnot. Yeah, just wanted to know your thought on B12. Is it just like a supplement thing, or is there something else you can do?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a tricky space in as we're sort of stepping away from our fallen state that's grown very accustomed to eating that way and harvesting the energy, the life force from other sentient beings, and shifting back to our sovereignty, which is where we don't need to steal from anything else. B12 is one of those kind of tricky areas that it seems to affect people differently. There's some people who seem to do just fine shifting and don't need to supplement and any of that. And others who have a harder time sort of like rebooting the system, like the default settings, so that we can process and assimilate and get B12 from the things that we are consuming, from even just from being near the earth or eating things that have some earth on them. In an ideal state, we would get all of that, and even in a more ideal state, our body produces it and we don't need it from anything external. But it's a process. So yeah, as I mentioned, I got my blood test done and my B12 was within a healthy range, which I was happy. But that's probably the only thing that I supplement, and it's not even really that consistently. I will take, that's not true. I take regularly, I've mentioned it before, it's called 4 salts, and that's just an alkalizing agent. So if I test my urine's pH, if my urine's pH is low, I will take that to bring it back up to a 7.5 or higher. Between 7.5 and 9 is my ideal range. So that's one I do. And then the B12 is the other supplement that I will take, but I don't take that one very regularly. It's really, I have it and kind of like I thought of it today, and I took a little dropper full. It's just a little liquid. The type that you want of the B12 that's best assimilated into the body is like the methylcobalamin. I'm not sure exactly if that's how you say it, but you'll see that word on the B12 supplement. That's, from what I've seen, is the best form of it that best assimilates within the body, and it's not derived from meat or other things like that. So you can find products out there that have that, supplements in various forms. I don't know exactly the one that I have. I think it was one that I got from Whole Foods at one point. Or I might have ordered it on Amazon. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, as long as you get it in that form, that's the easiest for our body to process and move through. So yeah, if you got your blood tested and you're low in that, that's what I would do, is I would just supplement that on a pretty regular basis to kind of boost your levels, get back up, and potentially even until you do another blood test. until you get back into that healthy range. Because while I love the idealistic way of like us not needing any of those things, we've also got to be realistic of like where we are and shifting through that. And having your B12 get to dangerously low levels is quite dangerous. And it's difficult to come back from that. You know, that's where I feel a lot of people struggle moving and shifting their diet, and then they feel, and this might have been, I didn't test this at the time, but this might have been what I was experiencing when I first transitioned and I went through a period of like losing a ton of strength. That was the most alarming part of it. I mean, I lost a bunch of hair, but I also lost a ton of strength, which was the most concerning part. Like I had a hard time even just like climbing up over a wall or something like that. You know, like it was, I couldn't pull myself up like I normally would. My strength was very faded. And that's a symptom from B12, lack of B12, getting to dangerously low levels, and it can get worse from there. So Josh X has talked about it and helping people within that. That's one of his supplements that he recommends people taking if they feel like they need it. But at a certain point, you might not need it any longer. So you can't, like, I can't just be blanket, everyone needs to take this kind of thing. You've got to feel it out yourself. And that's why I've shifted my perspective around blood tests to think that they are helpful. They're helpful information to know, okay, just how well is my body adjusting, and do I need to help give it a boost in these different areas while it's still learning to take the training wheels off, if you will. So yeah, that's my suggestion there. The methylcobalamin, I think is how you say it, but you'll find it if you search for various forms of that. And you can find a good one to take, and just see if you note any change in energy levels or a boost in anything otherwise. But that would be my suggestion there. So great question, and thanks for asking.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah. If that's my only problem at the moment, I'm pretty happy with that, because even speaking with the doc, he doesn't really want to get into it, but like rewind 5-10 years ago, and they had me. I had psoriatic arthritis, and they had me on methotrexate and Humira and all kinds of things, and now I'm just like completely free of any sort of ailments whatsoever. The only thing I have is just my fingers and toes get really cold really fast, so it must have something to do with that. But yeah, so I'm really happy with, at least he's helping me out, get the tests done and everything. So no, it's great. So thanks, Justin.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Appreciate the question. And yeah, I do actually need to end even a little bit earlier today. Apologies for that, but I need to start wrapping up soon. So I'll just give an opportunity for anyone if they have any closing comments before we shift over to the music breakdown. If anyone wants to say anything or ask anything before we end up, go ahead, Tina.
What can you spell the ingredient you just said that was in B12 that we should look for?
You're putting me on the spot here. I don't know how to spell that off the top of my head, but I think I found it. It's methyl, so MEthylcobalamin. Methylcobalamin. So
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And I was just going to add to that, another great helper is glutathione, which is really helpful with methylating, especially if you have methylation issues, which they're finding through DNA research and DNA banks, that it's really like 50% or more of the population. Probably because we've been overloaded. It doesn't really mean that there's something wrong with those of us that have it. It's probably more that everything's just been so toxic that the DNA is a little like fractured. But glutathione is really, really helpful. GLUTATHIONE, I believe. So I highly recommend that also.
Yeah, thanks for that. I don't have personal experience there, but I have heard great things. So that sounds good. And yeah, anybody else got any closing comments before we start wrapping up today? All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Let's do just a quick breakdown of the lyrics to play us out. Let's see, where'd that go? So we're going to be playing the White Stripes again with the two songs, Black Math, and their most popular song, Seven Nation Army, which you might recognize. But let's just go over the lyrics real quickly. So, Black Math. So math, left brain, logical, reason, material-based, oriented, potentially. Not that math inherently is bad, because math is the underpinning for how this all works in a sort of like figure out reasonable kind of way. But black math would be the inversion, so the lie, the deception. I see, at least. So don't you think that I'm bound to react now? Which is interesting, given the first song talking about reacting. So we're bound to react. We're bound in the duality. Well, my finger's definitely turning to black now. So we're falling. Yeah, well, maybe I'll put my love on ice. Teach myself, maybe that'll be nice. Yeah. So put my love on ice, as in like, maybe I've got to do some tough things. Maybe we've got to pull our heads out of our ass kind of thing as we fall into this inverted state. My books are sitting at the top of the stack now. So I'm reading the scripture. I'm reading the ancient text. I'm getting back to myself. The longer words are really breaking my back now. It's hard to figure out the meaning. Maybe I'll learn to understand drawing a square with a pencil in hand. Yeah. And as I've referenced before, yeah is often a Christic reference. Drawing a square with a pencil in hand. There's probably more to that. I know the square is the first. Well, it's. I believe it represents like. Oh no, I'm forgetting at the moment. But a square is a very powerful shape, as you know. It also is the four-shaped or four-sided layers, or the fourfold nature of man. So we're going through the whole process, perhaps with a pencil in hand. Mathematically turning the page, unequivocally showing my age, as in we're learning, so we're showing our youngness, maybe. I'm practically center stage, so we're coming back to center, undeniably earning your wage. Well, maybe I'll put my love on ice and teach myself. Maybe that'll be nice. So teach myself, as in I'm not reliant on the external. Listen, master, can you answer a question? Is it the fingers or the brain that you're teaching a lesson? I can't tell you how proud I am. I'm writing down things that I don't understand. So there's probably a whole lot more there, but I see it as just sort of like the learning process of us realizing just what we've fallen into and coming back out of it again, going through the Christic message and discovering the black math or the deception, the inversion all around. So that's that song. It repeats from there, Black Math. And then the next one, Seven Nation Army. This is a powerful song. This is, so the Seven Nation Army, 7 is like the highest elevation, and this is a declaration against evil, in my opinion. It's the spiritual war, the spiritual warrior. I'm going to fight him off. A 7 nation army couldn't hold me back, because I'm the Christ. You know, that's like Tina talking about that experience, that knowing. A 7 nation army couldn't hold her back, because she's stepping into her divinity. She's stepping in as that knowing that nothing can stop her. They're going to rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. The cowards are going to try and take us down behind our backs. And I'm talking to myself at night, because I can't forget. I'm talking to myself at night, meditation, going within, because I can't forget. We're remembering back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. You know, cigarette meaning the breath of God, stepping back into that. And the message coming from my eyes says, leave it alone. Leave it all one. Come back to the oneness. Or it could be saying, and the message coming from my eyes says, leave it alone, as in the eyes, the physicality says, leave it alone. Don't mess with that fight. Maybe could be either. Don't want to hear about it. Every single one's got a story to tell. And there's only one story. Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it, from the Queen of England to the hounds of hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm going to serve it to you. It's a message to evil. And that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what I'll do. I'll stick it right back to you. And the feeling coming from my bones says, find a home. We are the prodigal son or daughter returning home. I'm going to Wichita. So Wichita is a very central city. So I'm coming back to the center, far from this opera forevermore, far from the noise and the chaos and the external. I'm coming back to the center, going within. I'm going to work the straw, make the sweat drip out of every pore. And I'm bleeding and I'm bleeding and I'm bleeding right before the Lord. All the words are going to bleed from me, and I will think no more. Take no thought for your life. Come back to the center. Come back to you. And the stains coming from my blood tell me, go back home. So this is a warrior's call. This is the Christ warrior's call. So anyway, enjoy these two amazing songs, and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you jumping on and spending time with us, and we'll keep on keeping on. I'm not sure about the watch party tomorrow night. I'll announce it tomorrow if we're going to do that. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day. Sending love out to everybody, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.